Hey there, Horne-Ellstrom here. Look, let's talk about 2022. Today we covered for our annual challenge. Our annual challenge is the BU 365-day challenge. Why? I don't know. It's kind of my thing to encourage people to be themselves no matter what circumstances they find themselves in. The best way out of that is always to be who you really are. Use the resources you've got. Use your resourcefulness. Be who you are, and you'll find the solutions that you need. Everything we need is already inside of us. So today I'm thinking about ringing in the new year was our idiom for Supersize Your Business, and talking about, well, how do you do that? And then what does that mean? Then we talked about factors of success. What makes well, number one, you have to define success for yourself. Number two, what makes success in business? And I got to thinking about, well, maybe what we should do this year is together start and build and supersize a brand new business. Would you be interested in seeing that process unfold as we go through what you're up to now for 2022? I'm working on some new business startups with people, and I thought, well, wouldn't it be fun to bring you along with that? So I can, if that's something you're interested in, ask the different people I'm in business with and say, hey, are you okay if we use this business as a test case for my what you have to now, documenting the journey of that? Because I think that a lot of times there's different stages and different things that come up in business that we just don't talk about, and you don't figure them out unless you run into it as a problem yourself. Now, will we run into all the possible problems you could when you're doing your business? Absolutely not, because it's infinite. The infinite possibilities apply to everything in life, not just opportunities, but to the challenges and changes and problems and setbacks that you could have as you're building and growing your business. But would it be beneficial to watch as we build a business from the ground up? If that would, let me know. Otherwise, I'll just keep doing what I'm doing and documenting my personal journey as I go from the offline to the online world. Well, today we talked about the life framework, and I've mentioned the life framework before: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, relationships, contribution. And last year in April, I added confidence and communication to my areas and aspects of my life that I talk about in the Get Up and Go Challenge every other month for the last couple of years, as well as what I'm doing with the BU 365-day challenge. I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to share the SOAP framework every month with respect to one of these areas and aspects of our life for the next 9 months. And then the last 3 months of the year, we'll do something different. But for the first 9 months, we're going to break down the different areas and aspects of our life. And part of that will be in the middle of it, probably the SOAP framework. And so I wanted to make sure I covered early on, which it's really interesting. It's usually the 5th day of the Get Up and Go Challenge, and it's actually the 5th day of the year that I chose to cover this. I'm seeing my own patterns repeating. So we talked about that. This month, the month of January, we're going to be focusing on physical. Why physical? Well, because it's of concern to me personally, like it is to millions and millions, if not hundreds of millions of people coming into the new year. It seems like there's certain times when we pay attention to our health. It's usually the beginning of the new year, or if we have a big event coming up or something that we want to look our best for, or if we have some kind of a diagnosis or an illness or there's something wrong. Well, I like to be a little more proactive than waiting till there's something wrong, although I'm guilty of that as well, very guilty of that, waiting till there's something physically wrong before I pay any attention to my physical beingness at all, which is why it's moved way up on my personal priority list, and we're going to start with that. Plus, it's the top of the list that I learned a long, long time ago from Tony Robbins, probably the late 70s, early 80s, is where I first was exposed to the idea of breaking your life down into pieces and components. And even though they're all interrelated, which this is my favorite diagram, they're all interrelated, they also can be looked at and segmented to help us set goals, set objectives, set action steps, create habits that will make sure we're making progress, continually improving in each of those areas and aspects of our life, at least a little bit at a time, without having to think or create a whole lot of systems or processes or procedures that are complicated to make sure that they happen. So the first 9 months of 2022, each month will be devoted to one of these areas and aspects of our life. And then we're going to go into something really special the last 3 months of the year. Or we're going to do something really special the last 3 months of the year, which I have not shared yet. I'll share that when we get through the foundational work of building our life and creating the life that we want. So we talked about the life framework today, ringing in the new year. And I, as I was talking about bringing in the new year, I thought, maybe that would be helpful since I'm involved in different businesses all the time. Maybe it would be helpful in 2022 as part of this segment to actually go from start to finish. And it wouldn't be finished, of course. I don't think we're building a supersized business in 1 year, although it's possible. And it's totally possible, but the probability of hitting everything and getting everything clicking and running perfectly within this 2022, it depends what business we choose, what we're doing, what we're demonstrating, etc. So I couldn't guarantee that, but I can guarantee that we can go through the processes of starting, automating, systematizing, automating, growing, and putting the pieces in place to a business if that's something you'd like to see. Otherwise, we'll just keep doing it on the side, and I'll just talk about whatever I want to talk about on any given day. If I can help you in any way, if you have a question about an offline or an online business, or a combination of both, how do I take my offline business and put it online? How do I take my online business and add offline components? Hit me up. Otherwise, I'm going to be doing my own thing and really ramping up. It's like I kind of had my gears not rolling. I think it's the cold weather's got me frozen, and now today I've got my energy back, and I'm like, okay, let's go. We got stuff to do, lollygagged enough. The holidays and all the sweets and stuff have had their chance to work through my system. Let's go. All right, have an awesome day. I'll, of course, see you tomorrow. Let me know about that, watching the business.